Yeah, let's start. So, hope you have downloaded the document. I already shared it, in the group. So, why I shared it earlier because I want you to cover this day by day, whatever we're discussing it. So that's why I just shared you on the first day itself of the class. Yeah, I'm just trying to change the theme. And that's it. So yeah, we just started Jenkins topic yesterday. We discussed about a couple of things. What is Jenkins and what it does? Small things, I mean, and of course installation also, some configuration inside it. Today we'll continue from there, starting from basic things like maybe let's say how to run a sample job. As I told you yesterday, if you want to do some task in Jenkins, you have to run a job. That's the thing. You have to run a job. So let's see how to create a job. What all present inside the job. Let's see that. So here you see there is an option called create job or new item. Both are same. Job item both are so with some call it a project. All are same. Let's say if you click on create, I just showed you right yesterday. It'll get you this two page. Sorry, to this page. If you click on new item also, it'll get to this page, of course. But yeah, give some name, maybe test. It's asking you to choose something, item type, it seems. These are all types of jobs which are available in Jenkins. So for now, let's choose freestyle job. Of course, we'll come through all these one by one later, but for now, freestyle job. Click on it. Now you are inside the job. You created the job, you are inside it. Of course, you'll see lots of options. On the left, you can see different sections. Today we'll see all these things. At least high level will cover it. Starting from general section, I think this is about how like a basic configuration to pass to the job. Of course, forget about description. You already know this. Sorry. Like let's say you want to pass some information or some parameters to the job, or you want to job means the task whatever we are creating now, we just created. Everything can be passed here. We'll see that again. Don't worry. I'm just explaining overall sections. Next thing is source code management section. You can see Git here. Of course, if you don't know what is it, if you see here, corrected manage code automatically to pull the latest code of your builds. What happening is, with I told right to automate the CA, we'll be using Jenkins. Automate the CA is, I mean, it means checking out the code is part of automating the CA. Correct. So this is how we do it. So all these options, whatever you're seeing, came from the plugins only. By default, there are plugins installed, so you got the options. If you don't have plugin installed, you don't see the option. We have seen with sample plugin, Sonar plugin I guess right yesterday. So yeah, source code management section is to check out the code from source code management, wherever whatever the tool it is. Since we are using only GitHub, so only Git plugin we have installed by default. If you are using another one, let's say Bitbucket or something, you can select you install that plugin, and of course that option will come here. And next, trigger section. Trigger section is the most important thing because this section where we automate the job. We automate the Jenkins job. This is where we do it. How we do it, that we'll see later. But for now, this is where we do it. And environment. It's like a preparing an environment um, for your job. So you're running something. Of course, we haven't defined that yet. But before running, what you want to prepare some environment, you can do that. Like um, preparing some variables and all, some credentials you want to load, you can do that. So like that, we can able to do it. Next, build steps. This is where actual task happens. Depends on your task, you have to choose an option. See, like, there are so many. Execute sonar scanner, it seems. If you want to analyze sonar, you can select this. Of course, for now, don't do that. Windows batch command means execute some Windows command, but ours is Linux. So execute shell means Linux. You just type ls, it'll show you. Like that, execute ant, its ant is an build tool, or grid is a build tool. Maven, see, Maven option is here, see. Nexus, you want to do Nexus upload, see. Run with timeout means same options will run with the timeout. And these are MS build, these are sonar for MS build, Microsoft build. It's a different thing again. So whatever the task that you want to do with this job, you have to add in the build step. Build step, remember again. So why uh, depends on your task. Let's say what is it? You want to execute something, delete something, or whatever, create something, or run something in a command or something. Everything you have to do in build step. Got it? Build step. So I want to do some ls commands. That's why I mean just the basic ls command, or let's say something. If config, sorry, maybe I want to install something. Let I think it does not have access. Okay, let's try it. It'll fail, but yeah, it's fine. So based on your requirement, you have to choose that option. Got it? So I want to just execute some command, and that is the Linux machine, right? So that's why I choose an execute shell. If it is different, you have to select the different. If it is Windows, execute Windows batch command, like that. That's how the build section. Next, post build actions. These are like what has to be done after post build. I mean, once the build is done, what we have to do? We have to send an email. See, have to send an email. We'll see these. Don't worry. Or we have to archive the artifacts, or we have to build other projects. It means like a dependency project. Let's say if there are two projects which are dependent on each other. Once this build is done, execute other project. Project means the job. I told you, right? Job. Or delete everything, clear everything, whatever the data is present. Everything. Anything, whatever it is. For now, it's I don't want anything after the build. So these are the sections we have. These are the sections we have. Triggers to trigger the job automatically. But how we'll see that? Environment. Environment is where we prepare the environment for us. So of course, starting with source code management, where we check out the code. We'll see that also. And build step the task that you want to do. Post build actions, like what you want to do after the build is done. Got it? I just have this basic task. Let's save it. Now the job is saved. Let's go to dashboard. You will see your job. See test. Click on the test. You are inside the job now. On the left side, you will see options. You want to delete this project or rename this, configure this one again. You'll go inside it. See, obviously like this. And build now. Build now means it will build your job, build your project. So whatever inside we have defined, that will get executed. Got it? Let's build it. Just build a schedule. It'll see, it'll come here. Today time is, I think it's a UTC timing, not IST. It failed for some reason. Just click on this red symbol. It'll directly take you something, the output. It'll load. See, this is the output. ls there's no files. If config, see it's executed the command thread. See this is the output of if config. Sudo apt update y, it's throwing error because a password is required, it does not have access. See, it'll execute one by one. Whatever you gave, it execute one by one. This is called output, right? I mean, so in Jenkins we call it console output. Wanna come back, click on the job. See, so this is the job actually, right? We created and we executed the job. So in commonly we say build the job. So now I build the job one time. It's failed here. I can build like this n number of times. See, second build. Build one, build two. The numbers you can see here. Of course, again it's failed. Now I want to fix the command, configure it, remove this thing. I don't, because sudo is not there. The permissions are not there. I'll tell you why. Build now. So now it got success. Tick mark. See, because the commands whatever we gave are correct now. That's why it got success. See, finished success. Started by user admin. And there is something called workspace here. What is a workspace means? By default, when you create any job, it will create a two. We have two folders actually. Let me log in to server. So as I told yesterday, so there will be uh, home directory called where lib Jenkins for Jenkins, right? Everything will be stored there. Everything will be stored here. See the plugins, whatever the plugins you install, it will store here. Whatever the jobs, whatever the jobs you created, it will store here. These are all fine. But in the jobs, let's go. What it will store is, see test is there, right? It will store your job configuration in the config.xml file. And in the builds, it will store your build. See build number 1, 2, 3, three times you build, right? It will store your configuration, not the data inside it. Let's say I created with the help of touch command, I created one file in that in the job. It won't store here. It won't store here. It will, this jobs folder will store only job configuration, not the data inside it. Configuration, whatever we selected in the options inside it. There is something called workspace if you see here. This workspace contains your job data. So for every job, it will create a workspace based on your job name. See, of course, there is nothing inside it. That's why they empty. For every job based on your job name, it will create folder called workspace within the workspace folder, and it will store the data over there. So jobs just to store the job configuration, and workspace is used to store the data. Let's say I'll create something. Touch. So these files where it will store? It will store in the workspace folder. So I told you every job automatically, you don't create it. I didn't create it, right? So what happens is when you create a job, a folder will be created in the jobs folder one in the Varlib Jenkins. In the jobs folder, a folder will be created. First thing in the jobs to store the configuration. Second thing is it will create a folder in workspace folder also to store the data of the job, whatever it's generated. Let's say we have a job which build the Nexus Artifactory, let's say, or which sorry, we build the Maven code var file, or we sonar analysis or something, whatever it is. There will be some data, right? The data will be stored in workspace. Whatever it's generated, it will be stored in workspace. Got it? Let's see now. I told to create few files. What happens? Of course, it got success. Click on the ball. So touch. It's created. Let's see. Let's go to, sorry. Let's go to workspace. Test. See, it's created. By default, it'll create in the workspace, Jenkins workspace. That's how. That's what workspace is. If you click on directly here, you can see workspace, right? You will see it, what's inside the workspace folder. You can see it, see. And of course, you can see the data also, but there is nothing. It's a blank file. That's what workspace is. Got it? You can see here also. It's completely fine. Y- By default, one more thing is, whatever we are running these commands, right? I created a job in Jenkins, which executes some commands, obviously. How they all run is, there will be a user called Jenkins. When we have installed Jenkins, they'll user, see, there a user called Jenkins. This user is running the Jenkins by default. So whatever we are creating, whatever we are running in Jenkins, they are running as this Jenkins user. So that's why sudo did not work. See, we have sudo permission, right? We have sudo permission for everything, like for Ubuntu user, Ubuntu can user can able to use it. But this Jenkins is running as Jenkins user. So Jenkins user does not have sudo access. That's why it failed. Got it? That's why this all failed. Got it? So we have to make sure if you're running something, you have to make sure that Jenkins user should have access to do the task. Simply you cannot do like that. Okay. Internally, it uses Jenkins user. Started by admin means this Jenkins user admin. Internally, Jenkins, we have admin user. He started the job. That's it. But execution, whatever the inside, it's have doing by Jenkins user. Got it? So now we got some idea, a little, how to create job, how to do the task. We can check out our code. It's completely fine. We can do that also. Let's configure it. Let's do that. Let's, check out the code. So you have to select Git. Of course, repository. Let me open the repo. No, not here. Let me open an incognito. So let's say let's check out this Maven project. How to check out? Obviously, there is a URL here. So now we are doing through Jenkins, not manually. So we have to paste a repository URL, and it's asking for credentials to check out. Of course, this is not a public repository, right? This is a private repository, I believe. So we cannot. We have to add credential to check out. So it means I have to add my credentials to check out. How to add it? Simple. Below credentials, you can see click on add Jenkins. It will show username and password. Yes, username and password. User is password is automatically encrypted. If you see, you cannot see it. That's one advantage. ID something you can give GitHub because so that by this I'll understand. Okay, this is used for GitHub because not just one credential, right? We'll add multiple credentials in future. So we got to figure it out, right? That's fine. Now I add the credentials. See, I have to choose it. See, and that's it. Below you have to mention the branch name. What is the branch I'm cloning? I think master only by default. Let's see. Yeah, master only by default. It's fine. If you have different branch, remove the master and keep it. Develop, let's say. Keep it like this, which is fine. But for me, it's master only, so it's fine. That's it. Now what happens? Let's see. Now it will clone it. It will clone the repo where? In the workspace folder only. That's where. See, I told you, whatever happens in the job by default will be present in workspace. Let's try, let's build it again. See, build started. See, it's going on. That's why the symbol. Earlier, it took just 1 second to do it. So that's why we cannot see the progress. Now it took some time. I mean, this also less time only, but it took some time to clone the repo. Let's go inside again. You can no need to click on if you don't want to click on this directly that symbol. Just click on the number also. Here also it will see it will show some information to you. Took 0.81 second to run the job. Started 22 seconds ago. Start by user. What it did, it cloned the repository. Revision means this is the commit ID. I think latest commit. That's why it and the master branch. Now to see the output on the left side, you can see console output. See, it is checked out. See, these are all the output. This is the repo, right? See, branch name. This is the commit, the commit message for that latest, I mean, commit. And I did ls, obviously. Ls. See, now what happens? So now the data came, right? That's why ls worked, of course. Let's go here. Workspace, I'm inside test, obviously. Test. See, project, I mean, that git repo data is here. Simple. Git repo data is here. See, simple, right? How to check out your code? As simple as that. You just tell your repo, and you just tell your branch, and that's it. It will clone it automatically. That's all we do in GitHub. Sorry, source code management section. All right. This is the job. Let's go inside it. Let's see what else. That's about source code management. Nothing. See, apart from that, nothing. Triggers, we'll see it. We'll see it because this requires special attention. Once you know the basics of Jenkins, after that I'll start triggers. That's fine. But for not for today. Hmm. Environment. I think by now you know what is workspace. It will store the jobs data. So it's like environment, as I told you, it is to prepare the environment, right? Prepare the environment. So it says there are multiple options inside environment. It's like delete workspace before build starts. It means before starting the build, it will clear the workspace. It means whatever present inside the workspace folder, no matter what it is, it will get deleted. It will get cleaned. Just give you clean folder, clean workspace. We call it. Why? Because just to make sure we have a clean slate every time we run the build. Got it? So if you want, you can select it. Yeah, let's select it. It's okay. And now there is another option called use secrets or text files. See, if you want to pass some information, like there is a secret. Let's say there is a username and password. In Jenkins, we have added. How to add? Let's say we have added like this by default. We have added like this, or you can go to manage Jenkins. You can add directly. That we'll see. Let's see this since the topic came. The manage Jenkins, we have something called credentials. Click on credentials. Click on the system. Click on global credentials. This is what I have added earlier. You can add your own thing. Add, let's say username is test. I'm just adding some random data. Password something. ID is test something. Description, give ID and description mandatorily. So you can add credentials like this. It's okay. See, like this you can able to add. Of course, if you have access, you can delete it also or update it with this. See, update your password, change password, you can update it. Username also, you can change it. Delete, you can delete like this. So, let's say for this job, I want to load a credential, I want to use it inside the job. How to do that? So, this is where you use secret file or secret text. Got it? In bindings in the ad, where is that? Secret username and password. So what is I mean, here what we're doing is first you have to select which one you want to pass to this user. Your this one or this one. Maybe the test one I want to pass to the job. Why I'm passing this in the first place is I need it. Maybe I have some task. Maybe I'm running some script which require these passwords. Maybe I need this. So that's why I'm trying to fetch those credentials from these credentials, whatever the test credentials are there from the Jenkins. So once I fetch, how do I access it? Once I fetch, how do I access it? As a variable, see, I have to access as a variables. See, we have username and password, right? Inside this, what is the variable you want to define for, like, let's say user, and I'll define as pass. So now what happens is you have to use these as variables in your, whatever the commands you are using. This will fetch this test and whatever the password it has. See, we want to use the passwords in our job, which already present in Jenkins. Okay, so you can fetch with this option, but once you fetch it, you have to use it obviously. So how to use it? Directly you can't use it by test name and all. So you have to assign some variable to that. And you have to use that variable to get the value. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So that's why I defined variables called username and user and pass. Sorry, not just this. Which one you have? So you have certificate. Of course, I have. There is no certificate also. You can fetch like that. You have just s- secret file means you have it some file. You have to select here and the variable you have to use. How you use it? So anything. Username and password separated. We have seen co-joined means both username and password will be in the same variable, which is not suitable. Mm, That's why we don't use that. That's why we'll use it separate only. Because user will be separate now, password is separate variable like this. That's why we use these things. Let's add some command to use that. Let's remove this y, all these things. Of course, now we know why the checkout is happening, so why to CLS and everything. Echo dollar user. Now what happens? Dollar user variable I'm using, which I have defined in here. So now user will be fetched from here. We know the user test, it will be fetched from here. It will assign to this variable. Now we are using this variable key to print it. This is Linux what we're doing, but yeah, that's how we expose, no, sorry, not expose, use the credentials. Got it? I know it will be very little confused for the first time, but once I run the output, you'll see it. And next thing is add timestamps to console output. Timestamp on the left side, it will show you what is the time when it ran. Because if you go to test, you see the output, but there is no timing when it happened. So if you see add timestamp, you'll see timestamp for each and every line. You will see the time. Let's see. Next, this file terminate a build if it is stuck. It means, let's say sometimes when you build the project, it's stuck in some place. Some command got stuck, which is since 1 hour it's running. Even though you, sh you should not run, it should be finished in maybe 2 minutes, but it's running since 1 hour. Of course, you can stop it manually. You can stop it manually, which is fine. But if you want to stop it automatically after some certain period of time, you can able to use this. You can able to use terminate if, a build if it is stuck. Got it? See, timeout strategy. Absolute you can select. Timeout minutes. 3 minutes for example. Let's keep it like this. So if it is 3 minutes exactly, still the build is running, what to do? Add actions, what to do? Fail the build or abort the build? Fail the build, it will fail the build means it will fail it. Into mark will be seen. Abort the build means it will be stopped. There will be different color, you'll see it. So like that. So if it is crossing 3 minutes, of course, for us it's not even doing 1 second based on our task, but sometimes it happens. So if it is more than exactly three, it will wait for 3 minutes. If job is running still more after 3 minutes, it will stop it. Got it? So that's about environment section. We just prepare an environment because you so let's say, see the scenario here. We are running something and we want to pass some information, the credentials or whatever we have stored in Jenkins to it before run the build, right? Obviously, not after the build because the script uses that. We have passed it like this. And of course, we are clearing the workspace before the build starts, so it will give us clean slate, clean working, folder, as well as adding the timestamps to build so that we'll see what's happening and all, to what time it happened and all. Just for a debugging purpose, it will be helpful sometimes. And finally, if it is build is stuck more than, if it is build is taking more than 3 minutes, it will stop. You can change it, but it depends on your use case, obviously. So that's about environment section. Let's save it. Let's run now. What happens? Let's see. See, build number 6. Open it. See the timestamp on the right. See here. See, but the old one, nothing, right? But in the new one, we have timestamp 27:32 seconds. Doing this. Of course, it's just 1 second. That's why. And of course, it's executed the echo statement. It's giving us as a star 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 because it's a credential, right? We are trying to fetch it, but we are added as a secret by default. Whatever you add, Jenkins will treat that as a secret inside the credentials. You cannot print it. Of course, you can use it in your script, but you cannot print it. Got it? So that's how environment section works. Got it? Next, let's go inside. What else? Okay. General section, of course, the general is not that much, but yeah, we can figure it out. General is very, basic, things. First option is discard old bills. What does it mean is, let's open our job. How many bills we have? 6 bills. It will keep on, we build it, of course, it will be a new number. There is no limitation for this. Come on, yeah, it took some time, but yeah. There is no limitation for this. It's keep on going. Even, see, we have builds then with number 96,000, something like that. As I told you, the more you build, the more it will be number. That's it. There is no limitation like you cannot build more than this or you cannot build this many times like that. There is no thing like that. There is no such thing like that. You can build anytime, any number of times. But the issue is every time you build, as I told you, it will create a folder in jobs folder with a build number, obviously 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like that. It will store the information. Same as workspace. Workspace will won't create a separate folder, just single for update every time. When you run a new build, the new data will be override in the workspace. But in this one, jobs folder, it will create inside the jobs folder. Our job folder every time 1, 2, 3, 4 like based on the build, which will take space. Obviously, it depends on our how much size what we are doing, which will cause the issue someday because of disk issues and all. Instead of that, I want to keep a cycle, just like how we did a life cycle policy, right? In Nexus, keep only this many number of artifacts, clear the artifact after these many days. Similar way here also, discard old build means clear the old builds after some days or keep only this number of builds. Same thing. Discard old builds, See, days to keep it log rotation because there is only one obviously. It's saying, see what it's saying. Days to keep builds. How many days we need to keep the build? Let's say I gave 10 days as an example or 5 days. It means it will keep the build for 5 days. Each builds, let's say, if I applied the rule today, 7 bills are there. So these 7 bills will be clear after 5 days, which is not a good practice. Sometimes we don't use it. So instead of this, maximum number of bills to keep. So let's say I keep it 10. It means it will store only 10. Old ones will be cleared whenever the new ones coming up. That's how we use it. That's what a discard old bills is all about. Let's try this. 7, right? 8, 9, 10. See the first one gone. Why? Because we told 10. Include the latest one, right? Of course, it will delete the old one. Let's build. See, second is gone because 3 to 12 it's 10. Like that. That's how it will do it. That's it is important actually. We have to select it. Otherwise, your number keep on increasing. The folders will be keep on creating, which will one day it will crash. The disk is full, it will crash. We have seen this recently. We have to manually add disk, lots of things to bring it back online. So don't be in that position. Got it? So next, discard audibles are done. I'll sell this first. Execute concurrent builds if necessary. So what happens is when you run one time, when you build it, let's say it's still running, the build is not finished. Before finishing only you build it again. You click on build now. What happens by default is it will wait. It will wait. So it won't do it like that by default. So it will Jenkins by default will run only one build after the other. Within a job, let's say I have a job. I clicked on it, obviously. The job is still going on because of the task is going on inside it. So it won't run the second one. It will wait. The first one is finished. Got it? But if you select this option, execute concurrent build if concurrency means parallelly, which we do, right? If you execute this concurrent builds if necessary, this, what is it? This job will allow running parallel builds. So build 1 is running still. I can click on build now. The build 2 starts without waiting for it to finish. It will be useful sometimes. You can select if you want, keep it. Next, let's go to advanced. This I'll tell you, that's why I'm keeping it last. That's why. Quiet period means, see, I told you, execute concurrency, I enable, right? It means run builds parallelly. When I click on execute build, what should happen? See this. When you trigger a new build, what happens is, it won't start immediately. It will wait for a few seconds and then it'll start. That is called quiet period. How many seconds by default is 5? Leave it 5 by default. So just wait for that time, that's it. Got it? And retry count. If the SCM checkout failed, let's say for some reason, SCM checkout means the Git one, whatever we're doing. It failed for some reason. We don't know why. Maybe some timeout or GitHub was down. Do you want me to retry? It is asking. Keep it maybe 2. It means it will retry for 2 times if it is fails. After 2, it won't do it. It don't care anymore. Got it? So that's about retry count. By name you might have got it already. So next is use custom workspace. This is important. So what is a default workspace is for us Jenkins jobs. where lib Jenkins workspace. Inside the workspace, the folder name based on the job name test. Inside the test, we'll store everything. Let's say you hate that, you don't want it. You want to use something else. Give it here. Maybe let's say I want to use slash opt slash test as an example. So now from the next time onwards, the job data will be stored in this workspace path is changed. Everything will be stored here. But of course, before giving this, you have to make sure that this Jenkins user should have access to this path or not. If let's say Jenkins user does not have access to this path, then no use. It will say failed. It won't even run the job properly because it is try to, what happens is test here. It will go inside this. It means internally the Jenkins user go inside this and it will try to store the data inside it. But it does not have access. It cannot go inside it. It cannot create it. It will, means job fails. That's what happens. Got it? So make, of course, you can change your workspace, but make sure your user, whoever you're running, have access to this folder or not. I don't want to change it. That's fine. Just will you change it? Depends on your use case. Of course, we will use it for some things. Display name. Display name is to, like, currently our job is test, right? Job name won't change. Display name just to what name it will be displayed to you. Not really, much useful. You can ignore this. And there are two options: block build when upstream project is building, or block build when downstream project is building. See, this concept is there upstream and downstream. It's like dependencies. Let's say I have three jobs. One, two, three. Sorry, ABC, let's say. Sorry. So I want B to be built once the A is success. I want C to be built on the B is success. I mean A, B, C, A to B, B to C. That's how the dependency is there. So now what happens is B and C jobs, we call it downstream jobs for A because they are dependent on A, right? We call it downstream job. For B, A is the upstream job, B is the downstream. For C, both are upstream jobs. Upstream means starting before you, downstream means starting after you. Up and down, I think, by the names. So what these options what are doing is don't run this job block build when upstream job is building. It means if your upstream job, I mean this project is there, this project's upstream job, if we have the dependency, how to add the dependency that we'll see later. But for now, I'm just saying, if let's say we have, sorry, what is it? An upstream job, if that is building, block the build for this job. If there is a downstream job going on, block the build for this job. But both are not because jobs will run individually. When they are linked together, there will be another options to see. There will be another options uh, to enable to block or to build. Don't block here. Got it? There will be few more options. And we'll see those options. So if you want to block or allow upstream or downstream jobs, we'll do there, not here. Got it? So this is about these two options. Now finally, in general section, we have one thing called parameterized. This project is parameterized. Why I kept it last is we'll pass parameters by using this option to the job. Because this I want to show you, that's one. I mean we'll see this. Let's say I want to pass some name to it. Something, some information. Let's say we pass to the, you remember we pass some parameters to shell script, right? Positional parameters, something like that. Similar way here also, we want to some parameters to job, so that job will use it for some reason. Let's say echo user, we already seen this. Echo dollar name. Of course, there is no name, right? This statement, this command execute expecting the name, which will pass through parameters. The project is parameterized. Where is this? Yeah. Add parameter, you will say lots of things. Password parameter means you can pass a password. String parameter means you can pass a string like this. Name, default value is maybe test. So if you don't pass any parameter, by default it will take test. And this name only I'm using here, right? To for my value, whatever it is. So it has to be there. So you can pass a parameter, any parameter, and you can able to use it in the script like that. So let's say now you can pass like any parameter, choice parameter. You can give multiple choices. While we'll do one by one because I don't want to confuse you. First, let's say I want to pass string parameter. Test, save it. See now if you see build now change to build with parameters. Why? Because we need to pass a parameter now. By default, test is the parameter, right? You remember we get the default value. If you want, just leave it as it is. If you want to change it, dev and build it. The value you pass should see echo dev. How it came echo dev? This dev value assigned to parameter called name, correct here, and the name is being used here, just to print, just to show you. That's it. You use it or not, it does not matter really. We're just passing it. If required, we'll pass it. If not, we'll remove it. Why the hell we use the parameter? Why we pass the parameters if you're not using it? Got it? So that's about string parameter. Similar way, you can pass n number of parameters. There is no limitation, not just one. You add one, right? Like you can add like this one, anything. Does not really matter. You can pass any parameter. Let's say I want to pass choice. Choice means multiple choices. Maybe test like this dev name because I'm already using the name, so I'm not changing it. Or you can just do env. Sorry. So it will show us which one to select. Based on that, it will do it. So echo, I'll just choose env. I'm using it. Now if you build it, see, see the options it will showing you choices, choice parameter. That's why we call it. Which one? Test or dev? Anything. Test, build it. So now this value will pass to the our command, whatever. See, we are executing. Env, did I use correctly? It's not. It's. I think it took as encrypted value instead of printing plain text. Plain text means without any encryption. Plain text. Like that, we can pass any. I'm telling you anything, any parameter, whatever you want. Of course, password also. Password is encrypted by default. Same thing. See, same options, but it won't show you the value. Got it? Let's say pass something. See, it's not even showing the value. Like that, you can pass parameters. If you don't want to just uncheck it, that's fine. Got it? That's about job. Of course, we're at to see triggers, which we'll see tomorrow, and post build actions, which we'll see tomorrow. Post build actions, email notification. I don't know whether it work or not because the Gmail blocked it, but we'll see something. And these are all the things we'll see tomorrow. Got it? That's about job and basic things inside job. So we'll continue tomorrow with the trigger section and postable actions, if possible, upstream and downstream also. Got it? Any doubts so far? Anything? You can create n number of jobs. There is no limitation. I'm telling you. You have one job, right? Create one more. Test one. Free. For now, I told you select freestyle job. I'll tell you what are the types. Maybe day after tomorrow. Today is Friday, right? Okay, maybe Monday. Save it. Save it. I mean, we'll see it later. I want to create one more job. Let's say new item, test two. And what is the type of job? Freestyle, obviously. And if you scroll down, you will see something. Copy from some job. Select a test. What happens is whatever the configuration, whatever inside the test will come to here. Click on OK. See, these are all present in that job, right? That's why it came everything because we told to copy. So now like this we can create n number of jobs. N number, there is no limitation. Got it? That's about today's class. I mean jobs. So remaining configuration, this one manage Jenkins I haven't told, right, because I told you once you know a little bit we can do all these things one by one, it will come. Today we have seen credentials, right? Tomorrow maybe something else. We'll see all those things one by one, don't worry. Got it? So yeah, that's it about today's class. I know, sorry for the late way. I have work actually. But yeah, say tomorrow 6:45. Don't miss it. Today we have release, so that's why I have to uh, work on that. So we'll meet tomorrow 6:45, same out general timings. So yeah, any doubts? Again, you can ping me if you have any doubt. Of course, we have AI tools nowadays, so you can figure it out by there. But yeah, still you cannot figure out what it is. Ping me. Got it? One thing I always tell, try to know how to search in ChatGPT or whatever the tool, or in Google also. Try to know how to search, because see, not everyone knows everything, right? So we will like, sorry, get to know every day. Depends on what errors we have faced, what tasks we are doing. So try to know how to search, what to search. Depends on it, you will figure it out. All right, that's fine. Yeah. So anything before I close? If nothing, yeah, we can close it. We'll meet tomorrow at our regular timings. Thanks everyone. Bye. Bye all.